war in Gaza, the border, all sure to be covered extensively in the upcoming presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. But that leaves plenty of room for other, as of yet, unidentified subjects. Because there is now a push to get the subject of UFOs into the presidential debate. In fact, the hashtag disclosure debate is trending online as not only an effort to have President Biden and Trump address the subject, but to declare their willingness to declassify files related to UFOs and UAPs. That's unidentified aerial phenomena. And the subject may have more credibility than ever before, thanks to a group of scientists, academics, and researchers from, wait for it, Harvard. Yes. They have collectively suggested that not only may aliens exist, but that extraterrestrial beings could be living underground on Earth, on the moon, or even walking around among humans. Many of you are thinking right now about certain people in your life. You're like, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. Coining the term crypto-terrestrial to explain a secret UFO civilization, the scientists at Harvard have 4 theories on how those beings came to be walking among us. Number 1, they came from a different planet at some point, and they've concealed themselves ever since. 2, they're a form of intelligent species that have evolved separately from humans. 3, they're part of an ancient civilization on Earth, which mostly got wiped out at some point, possibly by a natural disaster. Or 4, there is something supernatural, like fairies and elves. Now, at one point in time, you could maybe say this seems so fantastical, but does the fact that this is all coming from Harvard researchers lend it any more credibility to the point where this will actually be covered in the presidential debates? And if so, what would Joe Biden and Donald Trump say? Just 4 months ago, or 4 months into his term, I should say, President Biden couldn't have been more dismissive when the subject came up.
President Obama says that there is footage and records of objects in the skies, these unidentified aerial phenomenon, and he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think that it is?
I would ask him again. Thank you.
Donald Trump, on the other hand, had a much more measured response just a few days ago when he was a guest on wrestler-influencer Logan Paul's podcast.
I've met with pilots like beautiful Tom Cruise, but taller, okay? Yeah. Handsome, perfect people. Sir, there was something there that was round in form and going like 4 times faster than my super jet fighter plane. And I look at these guys, and they really mean it.
Yeah.
And am I a believer? No, I can't say I am. But I have met with people that are serious people that say there's some really strange things that they see flying around out there.
And remember, that was coming from people that look like Tom Cruise, only taller, so there's some credibility there. Now, keep in mind that this question was posed to Donald Trump by Logan Paul. He zip-lined into WrestleMania before a match in which he launched himself off the top rope. Now, I'm not knocking him, but would esteemed journalists like Jake Tapper or Dana Bash, who are moderating the first presidential debate, will they ask these kinds of questions? Remains to be seen. Will the candidates have to tackle this issue when the lights are the brightest and the world is watching? Maybe even other worlds? Well, joining us now is UFO Seekers lead investigator Tim Doyle. Tim, thanks so much for coming on. So, they're going to be talking about a lot of different issues. You think UFOs, extraterrestrials is going to be a question that's asked?
I definitely think that UFOs and UAP will be a question asked. I don't know specifically alien. Unfortunately, there isn't any scientific evidence of aliens having visited Earth, although that's what I spend my life and passion searching for, because there are so many people who believe they have seen something in the sky or encountered aliens. I've met a woman who swore she gave birth to an alien baby. So I think because of there's 2 separate issues going on, the UAP and the alien question. Right. Of course, there's so much out there in the universe. Aliens exist somewhere. But as far as aliens visiting Earth is a separate question. Of course, the UAP is a real issue, and something is infiltrating American airspace. I myself have captured a spherical ball flying in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. I've seen a balloon delivery system over California. Yeah. So UAP is an important issue, and also destigmatizing it.
And I agree, and I think it's a serious issue that can't be ignored at this point anymore like it was in the past. My question to you would be, What would you hope our next president would say about UAPs or UFOs?
I would hope that the next president would tell us which country is infiltrating American airspace and what they're doing about it. Of course, the Chinese spy balloon was a perfect example of human-made origins for these kind of objects. Of course, a balloon was shot down in the 1940s because the mainstream media was working with the Office of Censorship in the federal government to cover up the balloon bombs that were coming from Japan during World War II, which caused the only deaths on the American continent during the World War. So it's things like that, I think, that the president really needs to step up and let us know if it's our own technology, which I don't agree with because we'd just be running a propaganda operation on ourselves. But I really think that it's some type of foreign entity that's been infiltrating our airspace with advanced technology. I mean, hey, even I run a drone photography business on the side, and I'm using Chinese-made drones, which I could never get away with using American-made technology.
Look, it's 2024. I think questions about AI and UAPs and UFOs are significant, and there's a strong likelihood that those questions will need to be asked. If it's not asked at this debate, it's going to be asked in the near future.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.